Hey guys, what's going on? I am so excited to be coming to you with this video because it's my very first official book haul! I am so pumped, you guys. I went to the bookstore yesterday and I'm like still on a high from it. I was like walking around with a stack of books that's like my hands can't even fit in the frame. That's how big my book stack was, and I was just like grinning ear to ear and I couldn't stop. I had this moment with this chick who walked past me and she saw me grinning and she knew why I was smiling, so she like smiled back and chuckled and I was like, you know it, girl. You know what's going down. Shout out to that random girl in the bookstore. And then this lady from who worked at the store, she came up, she's like, do you want me to put those behind the counter for you before you like drop all of them? Like, they were so heavy. Like, I got a workout doing this. I was so pumped. Like, I was looking forward to going on this book haul for like 2 days straight. I mean, I'm a new blogger when it comes to book reviews, so I saw that everyone like does these book hauls and I'm like, sweet, perfect excuse to go and spend my money on the one thing that I love in life. It's really silly because I've been so conservative like when it comes to buying books in the past. I was so picky about it. Like, I would only buy books that I love. So I have like tons of Ted Dekker books and all the Frank Peretti books and like a few others that I really liked, but I just want books. Like, I want to have a million bookshelves in my house. So that's what's gonna be happening from now on. I'm not gonna be afraid to buy books that I have never read before and just like wanna jump right into it. So I'm so pumped to start this new chapter of bookshelf stalking. I need a new bookshelf though, because as my name suggests, my bookshelf is like so old, like it's breaking down, but it's sentimental. I've had it since I was like since my parents had it when I was born, and then they gave it to me. So I'm always gonna have this bookshelf. It represents me as a reader, but I will get new shelves once I move to Vancouver to go around this one. I had to like rearrange this bookshelf because there's literally like no room left. I had my movies on the top shelf and I was like, these don't belong here anymore. I arranged my books so nicely and I'm so excited for how it looks. So let's just dive right into it. I'm so pumped to share these with you. Let's get into the very first book. I'm so excited about this, you guys. I got my very first Game of Thrones book. I'm actually a little bit surprised with myself that I bought these because I'm reading them on Kindle and I was thinking like the whole time like I'm not gonna buy these because they're so long, and I was like, there's no way I'm ever gonna read them again because I've literally been reading them for like a year. It's because like I only read my Kindle when I'm out of the house. When I'm inside the house, I read from like real books. Then when I leave the house, I read from my Kindle, and when I'm in my car, I listen to my audiobook. There's the down low of like how I get my reading done. I don't remember when I started them, but it was a long time ago. They are really good, but they're so long that I'm like, I don't think I'll ever read them again. But I just finished the third book and I was so pumped by it. Like, it changed my perspective on the whole series. It was so good. And also, like, look how nice these books are. Like, they're so big, and like the spine, they all match. They all have these little like symbols on the side. You have like ice there, and then oh my gosh, they're so nice, and I'm so excited to have them all on my bookshelf all together. I don't know if I'm gonna put them vertical or horizontal. I don't know yet. I'm so pumped to have them all though, but they're so expensive. I went in looking for the hardcover version. The hardcover version of just this one is $41. What? I don't know if that's a lot for you guys, but it's a lot for me. I have never spent $41 on one book in my life, and I don't plan to unless I'm like legitimately rich someday. I had such trouble finding this book, guys. Like, I found the George R.R. Martin section and I was going through my options, all of the little paperbacks you could get for $40, but those were the ones that like have really ugly paper and font in it that you can buy like in in an airport bookstore. No, girl, that is not going on my bookshelves. There was a set of these ones, the big paperbacks for $100. That will use up my entire budget for this book haul. So I was like, no, I can't do that. I need to get other books. So I was like looking for just this one and I couldn't find it. Like they didn't have it on the shelf. I gave in to the idea that I'll just have to start my Game of Thrones collection next time. Oh, you can hear my cats running around. I'm so sorry. They're like crazy. I was walking toward the front to pay, and lo and behold, there was an entire table with the Game of Thrones book series, and they had 2 copies of this one sitting there, so I was so pumped. I was like, done. It was $21, which is half the price of the hardcover. I was like, done. The only thing I don't like is this strip here. That's what I hate. I have at least 3 books in the haul that have the stupid thing on it that says like, oh, it's now a major motion picture. Like, I hate that. Like, it ruins the cover. Just leave it off. I'm so picky about that kind of stuff. But it still looks beautiful, though, so I'm so pumped to have this in my collection. I can't resist. Look how beautiful these books are. I am going to have to pick them up again someday and read them again. It's so beautiful. I have been reading just on Kindle for the last few weeks, and I am so happy to finally, like, pick up an actual book. I do like having a Kindle. I love it because it's so convenient, but I could never leave behind buying actual books. I love just like smelling it, holding it, like literally cuddling it. All right, let's move on to the next one. My next book is The 100-Foot Journey by Richard C. Morais. I'm listening to this right now on audiobook, and I saw the movie first. I really like it. Like, there's some parts, like just with any other audiobook, I zoned out for some of the parts, but for the most part, I've really enjoyed it, and I was like, this is like definitely a worthy book to put on my bookshelf. And I'm super pumped because the review I'm doing on it is with my beautiful friend Brittany Wilson, and I'm so excited to get together with her. I'm actually doing a review with her for Paper Towns as well, and I promise, like, you guys are gonna love her. So look for those, Paper Towns and this one with her, coming very soon. She just has to finish school and get some time to get together with me to film these things. What takes priority, book reviews or school? We all know the correct answer to that one. So here again is my pet peeve, except this one's even worse because there's a big ugly red circle that says now a major motion picture. The cover's so cool. It has all the Indian kind of design here, and then it has the Eiffel Tower, so you get like the French design mixed with the Indian design. I love it. It's beautiful. But then they stick this big red ugly sticker. Just leave it off my book. That's all I ask, please. So book number 3 is Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. I actually listened to this one on my audiobook, it was months ago, if not a year ago, but I loved it. I also listened to The Shining on audiobook, and I don't own that book. It was like your typical like sort of horror thriller book. So it was all right. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. But this one was a super good book. It's actually a sequel to The Shining, so it's about the kid, I think his name is Danny if I remember correctly. It's about him when he grows up, so how he sort of dealt with this power, like I don't know if you would call it a power. It sort of like walks you through his process of like how growing up affected this like power that he has. He kind of suppresses it at first, but then what ends up happening is like other people have this power called the Shining. There's this girl in this book who is in her teens and she has the Shining, and there's a group, they like track down people with the Shining, and they capture the ability into this, they convert it into something that's consumable called steam, and they get high off of it. Like they consume it and they feed off of it. So they're going around murdering people who have this ability called the Shining in order to like get high and live off of their ability. So this is Danny's walk through that, and him saving this young teen who has this very strong Shining capability. So it's a very cool book. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was deep. Stephen King did a really good job in The Shining, way better than the movie. I know there's lots of people who are really really sold out on the movie, but the book has so much more character development. Like in the movie, the characters are just like flat. There's nothing to them. You don't understand where they came from, who they are, what they're struggling with outside of that particular moment in the movie. He puts a lot of effort into character development, and he didn't disappoint with this one either. It's full of very rich characters, and so I highly recommend this book, and I want to read it again. Let's move on to book number 4. I'm sorry, Mom, but I bought Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. And I say sorry, Mom, because for the rest of you, we were just like talking about how she and my dad were watching the movie and they had to turn it off because they hated it so much. And I was just like, oh, like I read the book and it was so good. I loved it. I know a lot of people like didn't like it either. The characters are so messed up, and so they were just like, I don't like looking into this marriage where it's just like so messed and there's so many problems. Like you're just looking into this like highly dysfunctional marriage. I like messed up. Like, not that I would want to meet these characters in real life. Like, honestly, the wife is like a psychopath. The movie is actually a very, very good rendition of the book. Like The Fault in Our Stars or like The Hunger Games. They just did a very good job sticking to their source material, and so I would highly recommend both the book and the movie. It's not messed along the lines of like I watched the breakup. It was like you felt you felt the same awkwardness you would feel if you were like at a couple's house for dinner and they start a screaming match like right in front of you, like you don't know what to do and you're just like sitting there like, should we leave? That's what the breakup felt like. This is not what it felt like. Like, it wasn't like looking into a dysfunctional marriage that way where it was awkward. Oh, it was just so intriguing. It kept you on the fly the whole time. You thought you knew the girl from her diary, and then it completely switched. Like, I don't even know. Like, you guys just have to read this book. Like, I would have to do a full review to fully describe like how and why this book was amazing. There's so many dynamics and sides to this book. It's just so different and so good. Gillian Flynn, I really liked her writing. I thought she was funny. She had a good grasp on the characters, and I like seeing that. I like seeing books where each character has a very different personality than the other. I don't like books where all the characters seem like they're the same. If you don't like that either, never read the Left Behind series. So, very good book. Highly recommend. As long as you don't mind messed up. I mean, this isn't a conservative Christian novel. For those of you that are Christians watching this, don't read this book. So let's move on to the next book. All right, this one I'm obviously really pumped about. 4 by Veronica Roth. If you haven't watched my review on this book, please do go watch it. I loved this book. It's so good, and I read it on my Kindle first, and in the review I was like, I'm going to buy it and put it on my bookshelf because it was just like a necessary addition to the Divergent novels. Like, it was so good. It gave you so much more perspective on Four's character. You have like the initiation instructor Four versus like the softy boyfriend Four. I wasn't quite getting that connection. Like, I wasn't seeing those two people as like the same person. Like, to me, it was two separate entities, not just two sides of the same coin. So this book brought it home for me. I was super pumped to add it to my bookshelf in full living color. These books are beautiful. Whoever designed the artwork, props to you. Now I want to move on to the books that I haven't read before that I've purchased on this book haul. The first one, it was recommended from another book reviewer. Her name is Sophia from The Book Basement. If you've never watched her book reviews on her channel before, you need to go do it. She's such a sweetheart, and it's clear that she knows what she's talking about. She has really good points and really good perspective on characters and just story development, and I highly recommend her vlog. So I will put the link to her channel down in the description. Please go check her out. But I don't remember what video this review was from. Probably one of her tag videos maybe, but either way, I got the idea to read this book from her. It is called The Winner's Curse by Morais Rutkoski. Look how beautiful this book is. I tend to not like just human beings on the cover. I like books that are more symbolic, more artfully thought out. This is like the best of both worlds. It's still a girl, but it's beautiful. Like, look how beautiful her dress is. Like, her hand is reaching around the font. And by the way, I love this font. Like, I hope I can find it for my book review video, because it's just like, it's just so simple. It's just so simply beautiful. I actually started reading it like last night. I asked my boyfriend to like choose. I was like, which one should I read first? I'll let you pick. And he picked this one and I had no qualms with that. So I started reading it last night and I am on chapter 9 and I'm already like totally into it. Sometimes with books, it takes a bit to get into it. Like you always want to give books like time to develop before you really give up on it, but this one was good right off the bat. Like I'm into the characters, I'm into what I think the storyline is going to develop into, so I'm super excited to read this. Thank you for the recommendation, Sophia. All right, so the next one, I actually went out and purchased myself a bunch of like old books or classics because, embarrassingly enough, I have never read a classic. I'm so embarrassed to say that. The first one is To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, and I've actually legitimately been wanting to read this book again. I did read it in high school, but you know how when you're forced to do something, even if you initially love doing it, you just don't want to do it. So like I've always loved to read, but once I was forced to read books, I just thought I was a huge rebel in high school, which I wasn't. I was just a huge poser, let's be honest. I was forced to read these books in high school, so I don't remember anything about it. Like I didn't pay attention because all I wanted to do was like be rebellious and slack off. I don't remember much about it aside from like the very, very, very general plot outline. Like I can make a 1-sentence plot outline about this, I think. I've been wanting to read it again because I know it's good. Like nobody has to tell me that this book is good. It is like a classic for a reason, so I'm super pumped to read this again. Shout out to my English literature teachers in high school because here I am, I'm finally gonna read this book again and I'm excited for it. I know I'll love it. So that's that one. The next one, me and my mom have actually been talking about reading together. This is something we've watched the movies together literally since I was like probably not even born yet. Like I'm pretty sure while she was pregnant she probably watched these movies and that's why I love them so much. But Anne of Green Gables is my next choice by L.M. Montgomery. I'm so pumped to read this one because yeah, as I said, me and my mom would literally watch these movies on marathon. Once we put in the first tape, we would watch them all the way through, hours and hours of Anne of Green Gables together, and that is our thing. So I bought this book because I actually want to read the literature that the movies are inspired from. So I'm really excited to do this. Any avid reader can automatically identify with her because Anne is a reader. Like she loves to read. She is a free spirit at heart. We all want to be Anne, let's be honest. So I have 2 true classics. Like for sure these are classic 2 books that I'm embarrassed to say that I've never read before. The first one is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. And I'm actually just going to show you the next one as well because they match. I went to Chapters and they had like a whole section of classics made up with covers like this. So you could theoretically buy a whole library of classics and have your entire shelf look like they're supposed to be together. Like how cool is that? I love the idea. See, like the other one I bought is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. Another one that I'm embarrassed to say I've never read before. Look how cute they are together though. Like imagine this on your bookshelf, just a whole shelf of these. Maybe if they still have them when I go back for my next book haul, I'll buy a couple more, but they were only $15, which is the good thing too. They were quite cheap, so I bought 2 of them and I'm really excited. Pride and Prejudice is something I've never had a desire to read until quite recently. I just remember watching the movie and not being into it at all, but I think like now that I have a different outlook on life, I think I'll enjoy it a lot. So I'm going to read Pride and Prejudice. And like, I mean, these books are just so cute. Like, look, it even has like the cloth bookmark for you. And they're just like so pretty. Like they have, each design is different for every book. So this one has like, it looks like feathers or swans or like some sort of bird. But then each book has one that's highlighted in a different color. So they're just so pretty. And that was half the reason that I bought these books. I'm like, those would look so nice on my bookshelf. Done. I'm buying them. Now back to talking about Gone with the Wind. I bought this one because my grandma loves Gone with the Wind. Like, we just bought her this huge box set of the DVDs, Gone with the Wind. And she loves it. I adore my grandma, and so this is like a shout out to you, Noema. I love you. I'm going to read Gone with the Wind because I know you love it. Look how big this book is. It's literally like a weight. Like, I'm going to get in shape reading this book. It's huge. I didn't know it was that long. This is gonna be one hefty read, like similar to Game of Thrones. Like, it's huge, but at least there's only one of them. I just think these are so cool. Like, they look great on my bookshelf. If there's a chapters near you, you should go get them. Go fill your bookshelf with these books. They're so beautiful. Okay, and I have one more book to show you. When I went to the store, I like had sort of a list of things I should buy. I was like, I want to buy some classics. I want to buy a couple books on my book list. I want to buy a couple books that I've already read that I want to add to my bookshelf. And I also want to buy just a random book that I've never heard of, that I haven't seen any reviews for, that I literally just pick based off the cover. And so for this one, I had already like 150% spent my budget. So I went over to the discount section, and I was fine with that because what's the difference between buying an expensive book I've never heard of and buying a cheap book I've never heard of? So the one I picked, I'm actually kind of pumped about, to be honest. It is, whoa, I just stepped on my cat. Sorry. The one I picked, I'm actually pretty pumped about, to be honest. I like this find. I think it was like $7, so I'm super pumped about that too. It is called A Permanent Member of the Family by Russell Banks, and what it is actually a collection of short stories. I don't have anything like this on my bookshelf. I don't have any short story collections. This is what it says in the cover. It says it's about 12 short stories that examine the myriad of ways we try to connect with one another as we seek a home in the world. So, I mean, take that how you will. I haven't read any of them yet, but I'm actually quite excited to. I like the idea of having a book of short stories. I thought the cover was pretty cute too. I mean, I like the bird's nest. It's cute. I like it. And look at the spine. It's stripy. So it looks nice on my bookshelf. So I have no complaints about this book at all. I'm actually like, I thought I wouldn't be as pumped about my random find as I actually am. I was ready to be like, this one sounds pretty good, let's give it a try, and then read it and go into it maybe expecting to be disappointed and then therefore be less than disappointed. But this one I'm actually, like, I can't help being excited about. I'm excited to read a collection of short stories. It reminds me of this book I read in high school called Einstein's Dreams. I remember a couple of the short stories being really nifty. I can't believe I just said that. I remember a couple stories being really cool and like thought-provoking. So I'd like to find that book again. So I hope this one is sort of similar to that. Thought-provoking stories that sort of like maybe are symbolic or like not clear on the meaning right away, but you kind of have to like chew on it and think about it. I like that kind of stuff. So I'm excited for a short story collection made for like adults. That is my last book in the book haul. If you guys have read any of these books, tell me what you thought of them. Don't spoil the ones that I haven't read. Tell me which one of these is your favorite, like if you've read most of them. And if you haven't read any of them, you should. We should read them together and then we can discuss it when I do my reviews on them. I don't know if I'll do reviews on all of them. Like maybe it might be a little bit weird to do a Gone with the Wind review considering it's a classic. I don't know what my opinion even matters when it comes to that. That is my very first book haul, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you've never gone to a bookstore and spent like way too much money on books, I highly recommend it because I was literally on like an adrenaline junkie high for like the rest of the day. I could not wait to do this review because I was just like, I need to share with the world all these books that I just bought. And so I started doing a review yesterday, but then my roommate came home and filming videos when somebody's listening is really awkward. So I was like, well, I guess I'll hang it up until tomorrow. And so here I am, still as pumped about it. I am totally open to discussion, guys. Recommend me new books. I just like want to just keep on adding to my bookshelf. Comment below. Give me a shout out on Twitter at Danspire, and you can also find me on Facebook. All my links are down below. So yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.